Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Raj Academy. The main aim of this lecture is to discuss about the TSP General Study Solutions in a very detailed manner. If you like the content of our video lectures, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button. Sooner you upload a new video, the direct notifications comes in a while. If any improvements needed in the video lectures, then please do comment in the comment section. We will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. Today I wish you all a very happy Shivaratri. So why to waste more time? So let's get started. So now we are going to solve the 41 question. So the question here, Bellanpalli is known for option A sugar industry, option B paper industry, option C iron core, option D coal mines. So out of the four options, option D coal mines is the correct solution of this question. So Bellanpalli is known for the coal mines. So let's discuss something new facts about this one. So now we are going to discuss some of the important facts of the Bellanpalli. So Bellanpalli is also called as the industrial town. Bellanpalli is famously called as the industrial town because in this Bellanpalli there are a lot of or maximum number of the coal mines and also the open cast mines which are present in the Bellanpalli. That is the reason it is called as the industrial town. So there are maximum number of coal mines and the open cast which are present in the Bellanpalli. That is the reason it is called as the industrial town. So it is Bellanpalli is nothing but it is a town in the Manchiryal district. So it is basically a town in a Manchiryal district. So these coal mines, the coal mines which are present in the Bellanpalli are operated by the Singareni Collieries Company Limited. Means simply we are going to call it as a SCCL. This SCCL is called the company which is owned by the state government and also the union government. It's a joint of the Telangana state government and the central government. Telangana state government has a percentage of 51% and the union government or central government has a percentage of 49%. So it is basically this company is nothing but a coal mining company. So it is going to take out the coal which is present in the underground. So here this SCCL company is founded in the year 23rd December 1920 and presently the chairman and the MD of the SCCL is nothing but N. Sridhar is basically an IAS officer. So these are some of the important facts of the Singareni Collieries Company Limited. So this company is going to take out the coals which are present in the underground and it is going to supply these coals to the NTPC and also the Ramagundam. So all these companies which are present nearby, it is going to send the coals which is required for the companies. And similarly here in the 1936, the first coal mine was established by British government in the Bellanpalli. So in the Bellanpalli in the 1936, the first coal mine was established by the British government and British government in the Bellanpalli. So later the coal mines in the Bellanpalli are huge. That is the reason here the development of this Bellanpalli is became very large after this 1936 because of the coal mines are present. The number of coal mines which are present in the Bellanpalli are more in number. That is the reason this Bellanpalli town has become very famous and also industrial revolution in the Telangana. And similarly here by the SCCL company, this SCCL company has it is going to operate the 48 mines in Telangana. This company is going to operate the 48 mines in Telangana. These 48 mines, out of these 48 mines, 19 mines are the open cast mines and the remaining 29 mines are the underground mines. So basically this company is going to operate the 48 coal mines in Telangana, which are out of these 19 mines are open cast mines and 29 are underground mines. So these are some of the important facts of the SCCL. And here in the question if they ask which is the oldest mine in India, if they ask which is the oldest mine in India, it is nothing but KGF. It is present in the Karnataka. So KGF is nothing but Kolar Goldfields. It's the oldest mine in India. So KGF is nothing but Kolar Goldfields which is present in the Karnataka. So basically finally what I am trying to say is in Bellanpalli is very famous because it has a huge number of coal mines in the Telangana district. That is why it is called as the industrial revolution town because it is a town in Manchiryal district. So these are some of the important facts of the Bellanpalli. Now we are going to solve the 42nd question. See the question here. The question says that major source of power in Telangana is. So what is the major source of power in Telangana? Option A thermal, option B hydel, option C nuclear, option D biofuels. So out of the four options, option A thermal is a very major source of power in Telangana. So let's discuss something more facts about this one. So now we'll discuss the amount of power generation in Telangana. In Telangana, by thermal we are going to get the power of 6,682.5 megawatt. This much amount of thermal power it is generated in the Telangana. And similarly, the hydropower is 2,385.76 megawatt. This much amount of hydropower which is generated in the Telangana. And similarly in the solar, by the solar we are going to get only 15 megawatt power which is generated in Telangana. This is the latest data. This is a very latest data. So by this latest data we are going to see that by thermal power the amount of power generation is more when compared to the hydro and the solar. In thermal means we are going to get input as a coal, or we are going to use as a gas or a diesel. So all these things are going to be called as a thermal power plants. So by thermal power plants the amount of power generation in Telangana is more when compared to the hydro and solar. So that is the reason it is called as a thermal. So in thermal is the major source of power in Telangana. And here basically the power plants are owned by in Telangana. Some power plants are owned by state and some of the power plants are owned by the central, and similarly some of the power plants are owned by the private companies. So basically in Telangana the power generation companies are owned by state, central and private also. If you see, if in the question they may ask which state has the highest installed electricity generation. So which state has the highest installed electricity generation when compared to all states in India, then the answer is Gujarat. Gujarat is the only state which has highest amount of electricity installed capacity generation. So that is the reason Gujarat has the highest installed electricity generation. So basically finally what I am trying to say is in Telangana the electricity generated by thermal is very more when compared to the hydro and solar. So that is the reason the major source of power in Telangana is the thermal. So now we will solve the 43rd question. See the question here. How many battalions are there in NDRF? So how many battalions are there in NDRF? Option A 12, option B 8, option C 10, option D 14. So what are the four options? Option A 12. So 12 number of battalions are present in the NDRF. So let's discuss something more facts about the NDRF. So now we'll discuss some of the important facts of the NDRF. NDRF is nothing but National Disaster Response Force. The full form of the NDRF is National Disaster Response Force. So it's basically, if suppose in any state if there is a urgence of any disaster which has happened in any state, then this NDRF is going to come at as early as possible and it is going to save the lives of the human in a very easy. Whenever there is any disaster happen in any state, then this team is going to come and it is going to do its work in order to save the humans' lives. So basically the full form of NDRF is National Disaster Response Force. So it was established under the Act of the Disaster Management Act in 2005. So based on this act only this NDRF is going to established, which is Disaster Management Act 2005. So the headquarters of this NDRF is present in the New Delhi and the chairman of the NDRF is Prime Minister. So the present Prime Minister is Narendra Modi. So therefore he is the chairman of this NDRF, and the motto of the NDRF is saving lives and beyond. The motto of the NDRF is saving lives and beyond. So up to now the NDRF has saved the 1,33,192 human lives. So up to now the NDRF has saved this many people's lives, and also in India up to now it did 73 rescue operations. So presently up to now the NDRF saved 1,33,192 human lives, and up to now the NDRF has did the 73 rescue operations which are operated in the India. And here in 2006 the number of battalions which are present in the NDRF is 8, but presently in the 2021 at the present data the NDRF contains the 12 battalions. So it is increased by 4 battalions. So each battalion has a 1,149 persons are going to be present in one battalion. Means in each battalion the persons are specialized in the different fields. Suppose one will be electrical engineer, and another will be a software, and the other is a civil. So all the combinations of all the different technologies people are combined together and become a battalion. So it's each battalion has consists of 1,149 persons are present in each battalion. In the question they asked how many battalions are present in the NDRF, means 12 number of battalions which are present as per the latest data. But in the 2006 there are only 8 battalions, and presently in the 2021 there are 12 battalions, and each battalion has a 1,149 persons are present in the each battalion. So now we'll discuss the 44th question. See the question here. Which day is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India? So which day is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India? Option A 12th January, option B 1st January, option C 31st October, option D 5th August. So what are the four options? Option A 12th January is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. So let's discuss something more facts about this National Youth Day. So now we'll discuss some of the important facts of the Swami Vivekananda. So he was born on the 12th Jan 1863. So he was born on the 12th Jan 1863 and he was died in the 4th July 1902. So the full name of the Swami Vivekananda is Narendra Nath Datta. Narendra Nath Datta is the full name of the Swami Vivekananda, and the Guru of the Swami Vivekananda is Ramakrishna. So Ramakrishna is the Guru of the Swami Vivekananda. So January 12th is celebrated as the birthday of the Swami Vivekananda. So January 12th is nothing but it is a birthday of the Swami Vivekananda. So that day is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. That January 12th is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. It is also called as the Vivekananda Jayant or the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. So these are the different names here. So basically January 12th is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. So from 1984, in the year 1984, the government of India, the government of India declared this January 12th as the National Youth Day. In the year 1984, the government of India has announced this January 12th as the National Youth Day. So from the 1985 onwards, the January 12th is celebrated as the National Youth Day. So from the year 1985 onwards, the January 12th is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India, because here the philosophy and the ideals for which the Swamiji lived is a great inspiration for the Indian youth. That is the reason this January 12th is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. So here, because the philosophy and the ideals for which the Swamiji lived is a great source of inspiration for the Indian youth. That is the reason this day is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. Some of the famous quotes of the Swami Vivekananda are, "Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached." It's a very, very wonderful quotation. Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. Means until the goal is reached, don't be asleep. Always move forward in order to achieve the goal. So this is the very, very important quotation of the Swami Vivekananda. So finally, January 12th is the birth anniversary of the Swami Vivekananda, and that is the reason it is celebrated as a National Youth Day in India, because the ideals and the philosophy for which the Swamiji lived is a great source of inspiration for the Indian youth. That is the reason this day is celebrated as the National Youth Day in India. So now we will discuss the last question of this lecture. See the question here, India's first supercomputer is. So what is the India's first supercomputer name is? Option A Aditya, option B Paramjuva, option C Param, option D Vikram 100. So what are the four options? Option C Param is the first supercomputer in India. So let's discuss something more facts of this Param. Now let us discuss some of the important facts of the Param. So Param is India's first supercomputer. It is the first Indian supercomputer. It was developed by the CDAC in the Pune. In the Pune, the CDAC developed this India's first supercomputer. Name is Param. So CDAC means Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Center for Development of Advanced Computing. So Param means supreme or first. Supreme or first is the actual meaning of the Param. So it was invented by the Vijay Bhatkar. And this Vijay Bhatkar is nothing but he is an Indian supercomputer scientist. So he was basically an Indian computer scientist. So here, see, the India ordered. So because the India wants to make a supercomputer. See, so India wants to take a license of the US, United States of America supercomputer. So India wanted to take a license of the US supercomputer, but at the time the president was George Bush. So George Bush refused to give license to the Indians, because so George Bush refused to give license of supercomputer to India because he thought that the India may do the nuclear weapons. So that is the reason he didn't give the license for the supercomputers. So that is the reason. So Rajiv Gandhi at the time ordered the Vijay Bhatkar in order to make a India supercomputer. So that is the reason Vijay Bhatkar has had lost a lot of powers, and he was invented the Param. So Param was invented by this Vijay Bhatkar. So basically here India wanted to take a license of the US supercomputer, but at that time the George Bush refused to give license to the India. So because he thought that this supercomputer may be used for the nuclear weapons. That is the reason he never gave license for the US supercomputers. So that is the reason the Rajiv Gandhi became very angry and he ordered the Vijay Bhatkar to invent a India supercomputer. So that is the reason the Vijay Bhatkar has invented the India's first supercomputer. The supercomputer name is Param. Param means supreme or first. It was developed by the CDAC in the Pune. CDAC means Center for Development of Advanced Computing. So therefore finally Param is the India's first supercomputer. By this lecture, we have successfully completed the 45 questions which are the previous year TSPSC General Studies questions in a very detailed manner. If you like the content of our channel, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button so whenever I upload a new video, the direct notifications comes to mobile. If any improvements in our lectures, then please do comment in the comment section. We will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. Keep smiling, take care and bye bye.